curious what real Australians on Reddit are saying about self-managed super funds. From crypto plays to property strategies and scam warnings, this video reveals the unfiltered insights the online SMSF community is sharing. Let's dive in.
So, when you think of Reddit, what comes to mind? Cat memes, right? Maybe some weirdly specific hobbies. But what if I told you that for thousands of Australians, it's become a key tool for managing their retirement? Yeah, their life savings. The big question is this a hidden goldmine of financial wisdom or a total disaster waiting to happen? Let's dig in.
I love this quote because it just nails it, right? It's the classic internet rabbit hole. You go online looking for, gardening tips, and suddenly it's 2 hours later and you're deep in a thread about diversification strategies for your retirement fund. It sounds kind of crazy, but this is exactly what's happening.
So, what is really going on here? Is this a treasure trove of incredible advice or a dangerous minefield? Well, like with most things, the answer is it's a bit of both. All right, let's start with the gold mine side of things. Why are people even turning to Reddit for this stuff? To get it, you first have to understand what they're dealing with. We're talking about something called self-managed super funds, or SMSFs for short. It's a huge deal in Australia's retirement landscape. Okay, so what is an SMSF? Think of it like this. It's the DIY version of your retirement fund. Instead of just handing your money over to a big company and hoping for the best, you are literally in the driver's seat. You make the calls. You're in control. And for a lot of people, that's incredibly appealing. And just to be clear, this is not some tiny niche thing. We are talking about an absolutely staggering amount of money. Over $750 billion. That's billion with a B. It's a massive, massive pool of assets that people are managing themselves. And look at this. To put that number into perspective, these DIY funds make up roughly a third of all of Australia's retirement assets. It's a gigantic slice of the pie. And that's exactly why the conversations about how to manage it are so passionate and so intense. So that brings us back to the big question. Why Reddit? Why not just stick to the glossy brochures from financial firms? Well, the answer is authenticity. Reddit is raw. It's unfiltered. You're not getting a sales pitch. You're getting real stories from real people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this user, Michael, he just gets it. He says, you get to see the success stories and the horror stories. A financial advisor might, just show you the best case scenario, but online, you get the whole unvarnished truth. And that balanced perspective is absolute gold. Okay, so let's pop open this treasure chest. What kind of gems are people actually digging up in these forums? What's the wisdom of the crowd all about? Well, just look at the range of topics here. This isn't just basic how to save stuff. People are doing deep dives on really complex things like how do you hold crypto in your SMSF? What are the best property investment strategies for real? And they're getting into the nitty-gritty, comparing fees and different providers. It's serious stuff. And the advice is super practical. It's like street smarts for investing, the kind of stuff you're never going to find in some polished brochure. Let's take property, for example. Okay, check this out. A good rule to live by is that whenever an investment is brought to you, rather than found by you, look out. That is just pure gold. It's a simple, powerful lesson from someone who's clearly learned it the hard way. Advice like this can literally save you from making a huge, costly mistake. And they really get into the weeds, especially on fees. Like here, someone's done the math. They've figured out that for their specific strategy, once your balance hits around 475 grand, a specific platform becomes way cheaper than a traditional fund. This is the kind of detailed number-crunching analysis that people are just sharing for free. All right, but it can't all be good news, right? Of course not. For every nugget of gold in there, there's a hidden trap. So now let's talk about the other side of the coin, the minefield. The great thing about the internet is that anyone can be on it. The scary thing about the internet is that anyone can be on it. And this quote is honestly pretty chilling. It describes a real-life threat. Actual criminals out there pretending to be advisors, trying to trick people into handing over their entire life savings. So how do you protect yourself? You have to know the playbook. Scams almost always follow the same pattern. First, they contact you out of the blue. Then they promise some kind of ridiculous, guaranteed high return. They try to create a sense of urgency, like you have to act now. And then comes the big one. They ask you to transfer your money. If you see these red flags, run. It really boils down to this. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Every single time. especially when we're talking about your retirement. There are no magic shortcuts. And look, the dangers aren't just from outside scammers. The do-it-yourself part of an SMSF means you are responsible, and the rules are complicated. As this person points out, if you mess up and don't follow the regulations, the penalties can be severe. We're talking huge fines, getting disqualified, even losing all the tax advantages of the fund. Okay, so we've got the treasure trove on one side and the minefield on the other. How on earth do you navigate this? The key really is to find the right balance, to build what you might call a modern investor's toolkit.
And this really lays it out perfectly. Look at the two columns. Community wisdom, from Reddit, for example, is amazing for helping you figure out what questions you should even be asking. It uncovers those real-world problems you wouldn't think of. But professional guidance is where you get the answers. They're the ones who make sure you're following the rules and help you build an actual formal plan. It's not one or the other. You need both. And that right there is the key takeaway from all of this. Nobody is saying you should replace your professional advisor with Reddit. No way. The idea is to use Reddit to make yourself a better client, to be more informed, more engaged, and to know what to ask. It's all about empowering yourself. So I'll leave you with this final thought. We live in an age where we are just drowning in information, right? Answers are everywhere. So maybe the biggest risk we face today isn't a lack of answers, but a lack of knowing which questions are the right ones to ask.